Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is mass, which is the amount of stuff. Yes, stuff in an object. Now, we'll get into what that stuff is later. It's atoms, protons, neutrons, and a little bit of the electrons. That is what the stuff is. But just to keep things simple for now, we're just going to call that stuff. So the amount of stuff in an object. Say I have a bowling ball. We're going to use the bowling ball analogy quite often, because I use the bowling ball in class quite a bit. Sitting on a table. That bowling ball has a mass of, say, 7 kilograms. The unit we use for mass is grams, kilograms, all those versions of grams. But when we use this formula, we're going to keep it in kilograms. If we take this 7 kilogram bowling ball and move it to space, we move it to the International Space Station and they just release it outside of that space station. Let it float around. It still has 7 kilograms of stuff. That is the same amount of mass. Now, it might have the same amount of mass, but its weight is different whenever we're in space over here, so we're on Earth compared to whenever we're in space. Well, that's because weight involves gravity. Involves gravity. If you take gravity, which I'll represent as G, and multiply it by the mass of an object, you end up getting weight. Weight and mass are not the same thing. Repeat that. Not the same as mass. That is a very, very important concept that will come back to haunt you if you don't get this correct now. Weight and mass are not the same thing. Mass is the amount of stuff in an object. Weight is the mass times gravity. All right. Say you're standing on the Earth. You're standing on Earth. You are now. You're sitting on Earth. Then we move you to the moon. The amount of gravity is different. On Earth, it's way higher. In fact, it's like 9.8 meters per second squared is how we talk about the acceleration of gravity on Earth. Whereas on the moon, it's like 1.6 meters per second squared. So it's significantly less on the moon. However, the mass is the same. So say you take that bowling ball with you, 7 kilogram bowling ball, to both of those places, they still have the same amount of mass. You have the same amount of mass, but the amount of gravity is different.